Hey Empyreans, this is Carl, and this is Empyrea Group Training. First and foremost, I want to welcome you all to our first instructional video. In these videos, we'll be educating our clients and our viewers on different topics of health, fitness, and nutrition. With these videos, I'm basically going to educate you with everything that I possibly know about health and fitness in the industry, and nutrition too as well, to help our clients and our viewers reach their fitness goals as fast as possible. For our first lesson today, I definitely wanted to keep it super simple. I wanted to make a lesson where it was very easy to understand, but also too, probably hands down, probably the most important things that you probably need to know before starting your fitness journey. First thing that I definitely want to start off with is introducing you all to macronutrients. What are macronutrients? Basically, macronutrients are the three energy sources or your three sources of fuel that your body needs in order to do physical activity, to move, to do things, to be alive. There are three macronutrients. These three macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. What is a carb? What is a protein? What is a fat? So what I've laid out for you here, I have this board that I created for you just to keep everything very simple and very easy to understand. Number one, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is another fancy word for saying energy. Every time that we ingest a carbohydrate, that carbohydrate is turned into sugar, so that sugar can be used as fuel towards anything that you are doing, either your daily routine or you're about to exercise. Regardless, eating carbohydrates, always think that carbohydrates will be used for fuel for something. Number two, your protein. Think of protein as a building block especially for muscle. Protein is also used to create things on your body, like organs and skin and nails and hair. So protein is definitely a building block for a lot of things, but it plays a very important role, especially when you start engaging in strength training or just in generally just being physically active. Fat is basically a building foundation for hormone production. Like for example, growth hormone and testosterone and estrogen. All of these hormones that are known for building muscle mass and burning body fat are all derived from fats. Besides the hormone production, fats are also a great energy source too as well. Your body likes to use the fats and carbohydrates as energy sources, so you can also think of fat as another energy source. Also too, eating more fatty foods will help you feel full longer for a longer period of time, and also gives great taste into your food too as well. The next thing I want to talk about are what kinds of foods are carbohydrates, what kinds of foods are fats, what kinds of foods are proteins. Let's start off with carbohydrates. You have two different kinds of carbohydrates: simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates are foods like sweet potatoes, rices, breads, fibrous vegetables like broccoli, and things like that. Simple carbohydrates are more of your fast absorbing, quick sugar carbohydrates like fruit. Next, proteins. Foods that you can find proteins are mostly coming from your meats, your meat sources like chicken, fish, and beef, and eggs, and turkey. Anything that basically is derived from an animal is mostly protein dense. There are other foods out there that definitely have some protein content, like nuts and seeds and your nut butters and things like that, but it's not as high as, or not as dense as if you would find it in a serving of chicken or fish or beef or anything like that. Another protein source are your protein supplements. Protein supplements that you would find at a GNC or a vitamin shop. Basically, these protein supplements are protein that is extracted from milk, hydrolyzed, turned into powder, and basically you add water, shake it up, and basically all you're ingesting is all of the protein without any of the other fats. There are other protein supplements that don't necessarily need to be derived from milk. There are vegetable proteins that are derived from soy and pea protein and things like that. Probably a vegan will probably choose these types of protein supplements. But again, same process. They extract the protein from the food and then they hydrolyze it, turn it into powder. You add the water, and basically there's your protein. You're getting all that protein without the fat content. And lastly, fats. Now, there are good fats and then there are bad fats. Your bad fats are your trans fatty fats and your hydrogenated fats. Your hydrogenated fats like that come in butter and margarine and things like that. Your trans fat, or basically what I call them is transformed fat, is fat that gets included into food so that it has a longer shelf life. Let's say, for example, let's just say canola oil. Canola oil has trans fat in there because the canola oil needs to stay on the shelf for a very long period of time. You'll also find trans fats in foods that are in boxes or in packages and things like that, because those food need a very long shelf life. They need to be non-perishable. Those are your bad fats, and those again are related to, processed foods and things like that. And you'll find a lot of trans fat in fast food. I can't even tell you how much trans fat you would find in a Big Mac or anything like that, but I'm telling you, it's a lot. Now let's talk about the good fats. These good fats are called unsaturated fats. You have your polyunsaturated fats, then you have your monounsaturated fats. But these fats, and there are some good fats that come from saturated fat. I'll explain that in a little bit. But these foods that are high in unsaturated fats, and then we have your unsaturated fats. Your unsaturated fats are your good fats. These are the types of fats that you really want to incorporate more into your diet. The foods that are definitely high in unsaturated fats are foods like your coconut oil, your olive oil, your nuts and your seeds. Nuts like almonds and cashews, and your seeds like hemp seed, flaxseed, chia seeds, or like almond butter, organic peanut butter, anything that's pretty much an organic nut butter. Eggs are also a great source of saturated fats, and those are good fats that actually help burn body fat. And your fishes, like your salmon. Salmon is a great source of omega-3s and omega-6s. So incorporate more salmon into your diet and you'll see a big change in burning body fat. Okay, with that being said, knowing what a carbohydrate, a protein, and a fat is, let's talk a little bit about when should we have these foods. Your anytime plate, basically anytime throughout the day. If you're not working out, what your plate should consist of mostly is half of the plate or most of the plate should really come from fibrous vegetables. You really don't want to fill your plate with all those starchy carbohydrates because again, like we said, carbohydrates are an energy source, and if you're not planning on being physically active that day, instead of taking those complex carbs, I would replace them with high fibrous vegetables like broccoli or even just like your green leafy vegetables. With these vegetables, if you can find them more local and keep them as raw as possible, you'll retain more of the vitamins and nutrients that are still intact into those foods. Again, number 2 would probably be more protein. You definitely want to have a good amount of protein on your plate. Again, right, protein building blocks. The more protein that we have, the more prone we are to building lean muscle. The more muscle that we have in our body, it becomes more efficient and more easily for your body to burn body fat. So get a good amount of protein on that plate and make sure it definitely is just a little bit smaller than your vegetable servings, but it definitely should be second in command. And the last part that you want to put is your fats. Maybe if you want to cook your meats with coconut oil or olive oil, or even let's say if we just take like a steak, right, and like a serving of steak, and we put it on top of an amazing bed of green leafy vegetables with lettuce, tomato, onion, and red peppers. What we would do to add more fats into this plate, we would take a tablespoon, maybe probably put about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, drizzle it right on top, maybe shake a little bit of some balsamic vinegar on top, but basically what I'm trying to tell you is that you can incorporate fats into your plate that way. There are plenty of fats in meats in general, so having just, a high or having an animal protein on your plate you'll also be getting that good fat serving that your body is really looking for. One thing that I would probably recommend to you guys is definitely stick to those complex carbs post-workout. After working out about 1 to 2 hours, definitely this is probably the only time of the day that you really want to try to reach out for those complex carbs, like your rices, your pastas, and your breads and things like that. Definitely wouldn't want to be having those complex carbs throughout the day, especially if you're not planning on being physically active or you're not planning on working out anytime soon. Definitely don't stock up on the complex carbs. I would replace the complex carbs with the high fibrous vegetables, and you'll get more nutrients and vitamins in through that way. But just having an over excess of complex carbohydrates, and if we're not burning all those excess carbohydrates, eventually those carbohydrates will turn into body fat. There we have it. Broke it down pretty simple. 3 macronutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. If you think of these macronutrients in this way, it will make everything so much more easier in terms of having some thought behind every food that you're eating. Having a carbohydrate source: have I worked out today? If it's not a workout day, then definitely go for those high fibrous vegetables. Protein, keep them up as high as possible, because if your goal is fat loss and building lean muscle, you need to get that protein up there in order for your body to promote the muscle growth, right? And your fats, incorporating more fats for hormone production, like producing testosterone, growth hormone, and estrogen, known hormones that are known for burning body fat and building lean muscle. Also too, it's a great energy source as well, especially when you have your carbohydrates at a more lower level. Having your higher fat content will give your body that energy source in order to compensate for the more lower carbohydrate levels that your body is taking in. But other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. I want you all to hopefully get something out of all this, and I want you guys to subscribe to our channel. When you subscribe to our channel, you basically have access to all of our future videos, and also too, if you're subscribed, you can message us and also comment on anything that you would like us to shoot or like us to talk about. We are all really open to answering anything that you guys would like answered or touched upon. Also too, like us on our Facebook. Just search Empyrea Group Training in the search bar at facebook.com, and then just give us a like. You can follow us there. We're also too on Instagram at Train Empyrean, TrainEmpyrean, just one word. Click follow there. And also too, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, you'll have access to all of our future videos, and the more knowledge you have, the more chances of success towards your fitness goal, right? And lastly, big shout out to all of our clients. Thank you guys for all your continued support. I hope these educational videos will help you reach your fitness goal faster. But again, guys, subscribe, and looking forward to talking to you guys soon. Alright, take it easy.